Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 10.
Most of those people don't realize that their number has been used to be spoofing those scamming calls.
Scammers are using a new trick to get you to pick up the telephone.
It's called neighbor spoofing. That's when scammers use numbers with local area codes. As Valley News team's Veronica Marshall found out, even if you don't answer, it could get you in trouble with your neighbors.
We'll get 20 to 30 calls a day. So you go up there, you answer it. It's a local prefix numbers. And it ended up, it's a robocall.
David Hansen says 90% of the calls he gets at work are scammers, forcing him to pick up because they're using local numbers that could be customers looking for help.
And it's kind of costly because you got to take the time to set stuff down, go answer it, and go back to work. So.
Local businesses tell me the constant calls have cost them thousands and lost productivity, but police tell me there's more at stake.
Scammers will go after businesses and they'll go after individuals. So it can happen to anybody. They can, take out mortgages or loans and credit cards in your name.
What can you do to avoid these calls?
If you answer the phone and you find out that it's a scammer, the best thing to do is just hang up.
And if you have to answer, like David Hansen,
you can put them on the no-call list, but they use so many different numbers, so you can't really you can't cut them off. It seems like there's no stopping them.
With neighbor spoofing, your identity isn't the only thing on the line. So is your reputation.
They basically will just punch in a number that looks local there. And so if someone calls them back, it goes through to the person who actually owns that, and they have no idea that it's happened.
And one time I even called the number back, and I asked the guy, "Are you a telemarketer?" He says, "No, I got 3 calls today because people are calling mad because they're calling them."
We've gotten calls about that and saying that, I call this person back and they yelled at me.
Veronica Marshall, Valley News Live.
Hansen says he contacted our whistleblower hotline in the hopes that his frustration would reach local politicians so they could create new protections for businesses and individuals. And remember, if you need help uncovering fraud and corruption in your community, call our whistleblower hotline. The number's right there on your screen, 237-6576. We'll do our best to get to the bottom of it.
Police are investigating a reported sexual assault involving members of a boys' high school basketball team who took part in an out-of-town tournament. The alleged incident involved Warwick High School players during an early January trip to Bismarck. According to documents, there was a bed check at 11:30 that night, but several students left their rooms and engaged in what was called inappropriate behavior. Police in Bismarck confirmed there is a sexual assault investigation underway, but wouldn't elaborate because minors were involved. Warwick superintendent did say that 3 coaches have been suspended for several games for a lack of supervision surrounding the incident, and that the students have faced disciplinary action, but wouldn't elaborate because of privacy laws.
Ready or not, our stretch of bitter cold has started, and it doesn't look to stop for quite a few days. Hutch, should we expect anything else tonight?
Well, tonight the temperatures are falling, and that's our main concern. Wind speeds are coming down a little bit, but we'll still have some dangerous wind chills with clear skies across the region, temperatures plummeting, and a wind chill advisory for Fargo, Valley City, and points north through the Devil's Lake Basin, also out into much of northern Minnesota. As we go through the overnight hours, temperatures will be from 5 to 15 now, dipping down to 10 to 20 below as we begin our Friday morning with mighty chilly conditions, but the south wind promises to bring some warmth and some Friday flakes to your forecast. I'll have details on a couple of rounds of snow to contend with this weekend here in just a few minutes, but don't lose the snow brush or the parka. I'll have details in a few minutes.
Okay, thanks, Hutch.
You bet.
The Super Bowl is quickly approaching. Just as the teams are putting the final touches on their game plans, Justin Timberlake is doing the same with his halftime performance.
Alex Egan joins us live from the Mall of America after he attended the press conference today with the pop superstar. Alex?
Hey, good evening, guys. Yeah, today we got better acquainted with JT, as I call him now. The halftime performer talked to a packed conference room with reporters about a lot of topics. He was asked, one of those topics was he was asked about how Minnesota and Minnesotans are treating him.
Minnesotans have completely debunked the rumor that us Southerners thought that people from the North were not as nice as us, because it's like it's just been great. I mean, I wish you would turn the heat up a little bit, but Everyone's offered me a soda. Super kind of everyone.
I don't know if he ever got one of those sodas he was asking for. The other topic that kept coming back up, Tom Brady and a comment the Patriots quarterback made earlier in the week.
I asked Tom Brady earlier this week who his man crush is. Do you know who he said?
I heard that I made the list. Although I was a little jealous that I was so far behind Edelman, Amendola, and Gronkowski.
What do you think of that, and how does that affect your bromance with Jimmy Fallon?
Well, I think all of you know that I'm telling the truth when I say nothing could ever come between Jimmy and I. That's probably the biggest factor. That and Tom Brady. Tom Brady's hair, mostly. He's got great hair.
Let's go to John Breen.
Does he have a shampoo commercial? I'm just saying.
I think you just got one.
Okay.
Let's go to...
So you had a chance to spend any time with Giselle this week?
Why are you trying to break up a bromance? We just got this locked up.
Jimmy Fallon, of course, will be here in Minneapolis for Super Bowl festivities. When Timberlake did talk about his performance, he said there wouldn't be any special guests. He called his band, the Tennessee Kids, his special guests. And he didn't give too much detail in terms of what we can expect, only that he hopes to get people up and dancing. Live at the Mall of America, Alex Egan, Valley News Live.
It's going to be a fun one. Thanks. Thanks, Alex. And of course, our team will continue bringing you live coverage from Minneapolis the rest of the week leading up to the big game this Sunday. Valley News Live is your home for Super Bowl 52 with kickoff set for 5:30 on NBC.
Speaking of that, the average person will consume more than 1,000 calories while watching the Super Bowl. Later on Valley News Live at 10, how to drastically lower that number.
Up next, on the night before one of the accused is sentenced, a rally is held for those trying to deal with Savannah's death.